Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, finishing off our series on the greatness of the Arabic language. Here we have a famous narration from Ibn Salah. Ibn Salah was one of the greatest scholars of Hadith, and he's the one who wrote the famous book Ulum al-Hadith, which is one of the first and the most important books in the science of Hadith. So Ibn Salah, rahmatullahi alayhi, rahmatullahi wasi'ah, he says, فحقا على طالب الحديث يتعلم نحو اللغة ما يتخلص به من شين اللحن والتحريف ومعرتها ما. Ibn Salah, rahmatullahi alayhi, he mentions that it is incumbent on the student of Hadith that he learns some grammar in the Arabic language, that which will prevent him from the shame of grammatical mistakes. So there's a lot that we can take from this hadith, or from this narration, sorry. One of them is that grammatical mistakes is a shame, meaning that when someone's reading Arabic and he falls into a lot of grammatical mistakes, it's actually a sign of shame. It's actually something that's shameful in the eyes of scholars, in the eyes of students of knowledge. It's not something that someone who considers himself a student of knowledge and someone who is trying to progress in the sciences of Islam, that person making grammatical mistakes is a type of shame. Likewise, it shows you that even if you're just a student of hadith, studying the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and you're not necessarily specializing in the Quran and so on and so forth, you still need to have a very good understanding of grammar in the Arabic language, because and they even hadith are also written, of course, in Arabic, because the Prophet ﷺ was an Arab and he used to speak Arabic. So here we can see that no matter what science you're trying to study, whether it's the Quran or any of the science, the Arabic language and grammar is very, very important. Moving on to the next narration. This is from Shu'bah ibn al-Hajjaj, or Ibn Hujjaj, rahmatullahi alayhi, where he says, من طلب الحديث ولم يبصر العربية فمثله مثل رجل عليه برنوس ليس له رأس. Shu'bah, rahmatullahi alayhi, was also a great scholar of hadith. He mentions that the person who studies hadith and does not have a good understanding of the Arabic language is like a headless man with a hooded cloak. So it's a very interesting method, a very interesting parable, if you will, that the person who's studying hadith but that's missing the Arabic language, it's as if he's missing the tool that he needs to actually fully benefit from this science. Just like a headless man would not benefit from a hooded cloak, someone who studies hadith but doesn't know the Arabic language will not benefit from those hadith, because he won't understand what's going on, right? He won't understand the nuances and how to break it down and so on and so forth. So again, we see the greatness of learning the Arabic language, the importance of it, no matter what field of study you're trying to go into. And then finally, finishing off with a narration from Ibn Umar رضي عنه, that he says, أنه كان يضرب ولده عن اللحن. It's narrated that Ibn Umar رضي عنه, he used to hit his child for grammatical mistakes. So obviously here we have to understand that hitting here means in a way that would not actually hurt the child in any big way, not leaving any marks, not leaving any scars, and so on and so forth. And likewise, more importantly, this would only be at the time the child this would only be at the time the child is actually able to understand that he's making grammatical mistakes, right? Because a child, when he's speaking, of course, when a child begins to speak as a young toddler, of course he's going to make mistakes because he doesn't know how the rules function. So what's meant here is obviously his child, when he was actually had studied some of the grammar, he understood how grammar functioned, but for whatever reason, the child will continue to make these mistakes, and Umar would discipline him. So anyways, my point here is that discipline only happens when the person is accountable for the action he does because he knows better. And that's definitely what's the case here when Umar would do this. And of course, the hitting would not be in any way that would actually injure the child. So we can see here the importance that the Sahabas and the Salaf they used to give to learning the Arabic language, speaking proper Arabic, avoiding grammatical mistakes, and how scholars of old, they also used to see grammatical mistakes as being something that was shame, something that was, shameful, and so on and so forth. So, alhamdulillah, this ends our series on the greatness and importance of learning the Arabic language. I hope this series was beneficial. Alhamdulillah, الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على محمد ومن تبعهم إحسان يوم الدين.